Wake up, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Speak Now. It is NFL Draft Day. This is exciting. We got a special mock draft for you here on Draft Day. Man, I'm so excited. I meant to get more of these out in the weeks leading up to this. Couldn't make it work. As always, I'm your host, Jay Wolf. Not joined today by Eli and Steve. Just, yeah, not enough time to coordinate it with them. But hoping that they have a great draft experience too, hoping for a big day for my Pittsburgh Steelers. So yeah, we're gonna go through a quick mock draft. Just trying to get this out in the ether so that it exists before draft happens. Um, yeah, and there's gonna be some shaking up. Got some trades. We're gonna do trades. It's all entire first round mock draft. Um, and yeah, it's going to be a mixture of my personal opinion of what I think a team should do, and then also what I think the team's going to do. I'll try to communicate when one is outweighing the other. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, starting with the first overall pick. This is easy. Fernando Mendoza, lock it in. He's going to be a Raider. Number two is where it gets interesting. A lot of draft pundits are putting David Bailey there. I honestly, I don't know how to read into them canceling the top 30 visit with him. But the way I read that is that they want Arvel Reese. I'm picking Arvel Reese for the Jets. Um, and I think that was the clear sign. Regardless of whether it's David Bailey or Arvel Reese, one of those edge rushers is here at 3 for Arizona, and this is where we get our first trade. Trade alert. All right, so I have the Kansas City Chiefs trading up to the third spot. They give up both of their first rounders this year. Maybe they need to do a little bit more. Maybe some people might think that's too rich. Well, that's the price to go up to 3 to get an elite edge rusher. They get David Bailey at number 3. Number 4, not going to overthink this. Jeremiah Love would be a great weapon for Cam Ward, but what's Robert Saleh's calling card? It's defense. So he's getting his Fred Warner. He's getting Sonny Styles. I don't want to overthink this. I do think an alternative pick there would be Jeremiah Love if Jeremiah Love doesn't go to 3 to Arizona if they stick and pick. And then number 5, John Harbaugh gets his Ed Reed. Caleb Downs. Not going to overthink this one either. Just get the best player arguably in the draft outside of Jeremiah Love. You don't need running back as much with Scatterbo. So go get that safety. Go get that cornerstone. You have another top 10 pick and a couple picks. So yeah, I have the Giants taking Caleb Downs at 5. At number 6, another trade. Cleveland Browns trade back with the Cardinals. Cardinals have the 9th pick, so they go up and they go to number 6. Jeremiah Love is still there. They take him at number 6. So the Arizona Cardinals get Jeremiah Love at number 6. Number 7, Jaden Daniels needs a best friend wide receiver to grow old with. Peter Schrager was just saying this on his Schrager Hour the other day. But their defense is messy. They need to fix some stuff. But we can wait. Get him a wide receiver to go old with. They love Carnell Tate. They take Carnell Tate here, first wide receiver off the board at number 7 to the Commanders. Number 8, I have the Saints taking the hometown kid, or at least the LSU kid, Mansour Delane. Just got to improve that defense. I could see taking a weapon here for Shuck. I think they really like Mekhi Lemon. As a Steelers fan, that I think that's a really strong possibility is that they go Mekhi Lemon here. But yeah, I think they do number 8, Mansour Delane. Number 9, Cleveland Browns. Now they traded back. They get the first offensive lineman off the board. They get their pick of any offensive lineman they want. They shock the world. Caden Proctor goes as the first offensive lineman off the board. Big mauler, can play guard, could play tackle for them. Athletic, they take Caden Proctor. And then at number 10, the Giants get their wide receiver that they love, that they've just went out to dinner with in Arizona, Jordan Tyson. So I think number 10, if he's there, lock that one in for sure. I think that they are doing Jordan Tyson. Number 11, this is the Dolphins pick. We got another trade. Yinzers, get excited. The Pittsburgh Steelers trade up to number 11. Now, we're talking compensation. What's that going to look like? Well, you have 3 third rounders that you can use to help you go up there and get there. You got a couple fourth rounders. You also got Nick Herbig, or you have Alex Highsmith. Wouldn't be surprised if we traded edge rusher. Don't want that to necessarily happen, but regardless of what the compensation is, I think 11 to 13 look for the Steelers to trade up if Mekhi Lemon is still there. I think that's who they go up and get. I don't think that they would trade up for Ione. I think maybe if Ione slips to like the Lions at 17 um, or the Vikings at 18, maybe then you trade up for Ione. But I don't see them going that far up for a guard or really prioritizing that. I do think they are looking to trade up in not just the first, but also probably the second. I think that they're going to be aggressive in this draft to go get quality over quantity. Shout out to Jerry Dulac, who was talking about that in his chat. And I think Mekhi Lemon is the guy that they are coveting. I think, in my opinion, I think he's the best wide receiver in this class as it stands here today. They go up at number 11. Steelers get Mekhi Lemon. Number 12, Jerry needs a star defensive player for the Dallas Cowboys, man. They get Ruben Bain Jr. of the Miami Hurricanes. Um, I think he's arguably the best defensive player left on the board. Yeah, the short arms, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Go get your edge rusher that can have elite potential there. Number 13, the Rams. This, I think, could be a trade scenario here for them. Um, I have them sticking and picking here, but I would not be surprised if like the Eagles or the Lions try to come up to this pick and go get an offensive lineman. Now we do have Francis Mauigoa still on the board. However, I see them taking Monroe Freeling. They've done some work on him, had him in the building. I believe it's Monroe Freeling. Go get this just big athletic tackle for your offensive line. Number 14, this is a pick that I fluctuated when I was doing this mock, when I was building this out, because Spencer Fano is still there. However, I think from what I've gathered throughout this draft process, I think Venga Ione is the pick for Baltimore. I think that they get a future all-pro guard in this, potentially a future Hall of Famer. I mean, you just think about the Ravens of like the late 2000s, 2010s, with Marshall Yanda and stuff like that. I think, yeah, build that trenches, continue to create space for Lamar to work. They get Venga Ione. Don't overthink it. Number 15, another trade. Dolphins come back up. They have a bunch of picks. They need a lot of picks for their roster, but they can afford to give up a third or something like that in their first. So they trade up from where the Steelers were at 21 to 15 with the Buccaneers. They take Francis Mauigoa. Whether this is at 11 or this is him slipping because of his back issue, reported back issue, which I could see that happening. Maybe that's getting downplayed a little bit too much. I do like the Dolphins taking the hometown kid here. So they get Francis Mauigoa at 15. Number 16, I could see this as another trade. We're getting a run on tackles and offensive linemen. Do you see the Eagles move this far up to try to jump the Lions and get their pick? Are the Eagles and the Lions targeting the same guy? Maybe. However, I see the Jets. In this mock, I have the Jets sticking and picking. They pick Omar Cooper. I think that this pick is definitely going to be a wide receiver. It just kind of depends on who. And I don't think they want to risk trading back in the draft where you're starting to get into like the Browns and like the Bills range where they might also be targeting wide receivers, or even the Dolphins pick or I think that those picks are going to be targeting wide receiver. I think we're going to see several first round wide receivers. I think you could see as many as like 7 first round wide receivers. I mean, you already got Jordan Tyson, you got Carnell Tate, you got Mekhi Lemon. Denzel Boston, I think, would be 4. Casey Concepcion would be 5. Omar Cooper 6. And then 7, I could see Chris Brazzell sneaking into the end of the first round. The character concerns are obviously alarming, but say the Dolphins are there at 30 and those other 6 guys are there. Do they take a chance on the potential of what Chris Brazzell could be? Maybe. Spoiler, I don't have him going in this mock, but Omar Cooper is the pick here. Lions, They get lucky. Spencer Fano falls to them. They pick Spencer Fano. Tackle could start opposite Penei Sewell, whether that's on the right or left side if they end up moving Sewell. He could start inside if you need him to. I like Spencer Fano as the pick here. Another pick to look out for here is Max, the tackle from Arizona State. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. Um, so I would not be surprised if actually Max is the pick. I just for the sake of this draft, Spencer Fano falls. Maybe Spencer Fano goes to the Baltimore. That was an alternate pick I had there instead of Ione if he's falling. Um, but Spencer Fano to the Lions. Then number 18, this is the Vikings pick. They trade, another trade. Vikings trade with the Eagles. Eagles move up. They go get Caleb Lomu, the tackle from Utah. So Utah tackles go back to back, pretty fitting. Yeah, the Eagles go get their left tackle of the future. Number 19, I have the Panthers taking Dylan Theneman, the safety from Oregon. I think he's just a dynamic playmaker, something that their defense needs. Now, I know there's been a lot of smoke about them taking a weapon for Bryce Young. There's no rule against them picking 3 wide receivers in the first round in consecutive years, but I don't know, man. In such a deep wide receiver class, I don't think they do. I don't think you can justify doing that when you just took Ted McMillan last year. You just took Xavier Legette the year before that. I don't see them uh, taking a wide receiver here. That just seems like overkill. Like go get a star defensive player for your defense. Number 20, Dallas Cowboys. I think this is going to be a defensive back regardless. The question is who? Well, that's if they don't take Mansour Delane. If Mansour Delane falls to 12 or they trade up for Mansour Delane, I can see that. But in this scenario, they got Ruben Bain. So now we get a defensive back. When I had an early mock on this, I did Emmanuel McNeil Warren for them. I just think that he could be a Jerry Jones type player, just dynamic. However, I'm really trying to get this guy in the first round because I think he is going to go in the first round, and so my fit to to him is the Cowboys. It's Chris Johnson, the cornerback out of San Diego State. I really think that he's going to end up going today in the first round. I think he's sneaking up there. I think I've seen a lot of teams do work on him. Teams that necessarily he wouldn't be there in the second round for them. Looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I know they brought him in. So I feel like he's a legit first round conversation for teams. Then number 21, this is the Bucks now. Remember, it was originally the Steelers pick. Steelers trade up to 11 with the Dolphins. Dolphins then trade up to 15 with the Bucks. Number 21, Zion Young, edge from Missouri. I think that this guy's going to go in the first round. I've just seen so many teams do work on him. Again, teams that like he wouldn't be there for in the second round. I think edge, the premium on edge in a class where there's not a ton of blue chip prospects, positional value. You talk about just taking the best player. I think you're just going to go get the fifth year option for edges. You're going to see a premium on them. You're going to see a premium on offensive linemen, especially tackles in this draft. So I just see some of these guys going earlier than projected. So I see Zion Young going to the Buccaneers at 21. 22, another trade here. Chargers trade back. They need picks. They don't have a ton of picks. And I think the target for them is going to be guard or just offensive lineman. They can afford to move back. The guards are like late first, early second, mid second grade, so they can move back and still get a guard. Whereas the Dolphins are moving now up from 30. They're trying to jump the Browns to go get a wide receiver. They get Denzel Boston out of Washington, give a nice weapon for Malik Willis, and just a big target, someone that whoever their future quarterback is, whether it is Malik Willis long term or some rookie next year or wherever, it's get someone that can be a big target that just catches the football, can be covered and still catch it, has a huge catch radius, probably has a little bit more diversity to his role than what people are giving him credit for. And now you have two great offensive players to build around. Yeah, I know that their coach is a defensive guy, but I think watch them build that offense for their future signal, Carl, which I think they should. Number 23, a big shock here. as this guy sneaks in the first round for the Vikings. Remember, the Vikings traded with the Eagles, traded back. Um, I have the Vikings trading Treydon Stukes, cornerback slash safety out of Arizona. This guy just makes freaky plays, super athletic. I believe his medical stuff has been cleared, so I think this guy goes in the first round. Watch Treydon Stukes, and I would have a strong inkling that he goes a lot earlier in the first round than people are thinking. I wouldn't be surprised to see him if they're there at 18, taking him potentially over Thieneman. Number 24, Browns fans don't hate me, but I feel like this is a very Browns pick. Um, Kenyon Sadiq. I have them taking Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. I actually think this is a pretty good pick. I think he might be the best offensive playmaker left on the board. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, wait, hold up. They already have Harold Fannin. Why would they go up? Why would they take a tight end when they already have Harold Fannin?" Think about where Todd Monken's coming from, man. He operated in an offense that relied heavily on two tight ends, right? Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. Well, there you go. Go get an elite tight end prospect, man, in Kenyon Sadiq. Dude, that's just a freaky athlete that really is more of a hybrid of wide receiver tight end than just a pure tight end, but like also just not a pushover in the blocking game either. I think that this there's some smoke with him going to the Browns, and it's smoke that I'm buying. I know that they've brought him in for a pre-draft visit. Um, so I see this being a very Browns pick, and they take Kenyon Sadiq, and it might not be a bad pick just because it's a Browns pick. Number 25 for the Bears here. I've went back and forth here for like almost all my mock drafts that I've been doing. I have had them take Caden McDonald, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State, and I would not be shocked if he goes here. However, I'm trying to get this guy in the first round because I think he's going to end up going there. I've just seen a lot of smoke about him rising into the first round. It's TJ Parker, the edge from Clemson. Go get, again, the premium. Go get the premium on edge rusher. Yes, they need defensive line help, big mauling defensive line help, but you could go get potentially you get Proctor in the second round if he falls. You could go get Dominic Orange later in the draft. There's just guys later in the draft, whereas this isn't a rich defensive tackle class with not really that many, if any, true first round prospects. Maybe Peter Woods. I think he ends up falling, as you'll see. So go get TJ Parker. Go get the edge with a lot of potential. Number 26, I have the Bills taking Casey Concepcion. They finally get their shifty wide receiver, the guy that just is a great route runner. Concentration drops, yes, can be an issue, but I think that's something you can work through. But yeah, I think that they go get their playmaker for Josh Allen. Joe Brady in his first year as the head coach goes and gets Josh a wide receiver that he can rely on, really build out the offensive weapons. Yes, I could see them going defense here, but just continue to give Josh weapons, man, so he doesn't have to play hero ball as often. Number 27, I think this guy goes in the first round too. He's been rising as of late. Malachi Lawrence, the edge from UCF, he goes to the 49ers. This is one where they've done a lot of work on wide receivers, actually, even though they have Mike Evans. They signed Mike Evans. I know he's older. They have Ricky Pearsall. They have some guys, so I wouldn't be surprised if one of these wide receivers falls. Imagine Casey Concepcion in a Kyle Shanahan scheme. I feel like Kyle Shanahan could have a lot of fun with a guy like Casey Concepcion. But in this draft, we have him taking Malachi Lawrence again, another guy that I'm trying to get in the first round. I think he goes there. It's really hard. There's like several guys where I'm like, I don't know how to fit these guys in to the first round because I feel like they could potentially sneak in. We'll talk about those guys at the end of this mock draft. Number 28, the Texans get a tackle on their right side for the future. Blake Miller out of Clemson. This dude is a beast. I really like him. If Steelers take and pick at 21, I would not be upset if we took Blake Miller. But I have him going to Houston. Got to continue to build that offensive line, revamp it for CJ Stroud for the best success. Number 29, remember the Chiefs traded this pick earlier in the draft to go up to 3. Arizona gets that second first rounder that they need to go draft Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama. Personally, I would not be taking a quarterback. I would not be taking Ty Simpson if I were them, but I do think that he goes back into the first round, and I think he goes to Arizona. Number 30, again, Chargers traded back. um, with the Dolphins. No, yeah, with the Dolphins. Sorry. Um, they take Chase Basantis, the guard from Texas A&M. I think this dude's going to end up sneaking into the first round. He might even be to the Chargers at their original pick, especially if Venga Ione is off the board, which I think he will be. I don't think he'll slide as far as people might think he could because he's a guard. So we have Chase Basantis going there to San Diego, Los Angeles. Oh my gosh, the Chargers. Jeez Louise, what year is it? Been talking, just rambling. It's hard. I don't have Eli and Steve here to fill the gaps. Throat's getting a little dry. Should have grabbed water. Yes, I could pause this at any time, but here we are. Number 31, the Patriots. I could see them being trade up candidates potentially, but I think they stick and pick here. They get Max, the tackle out of Arizona State. I think that this dude goes in the first round. He's got uber potential, super raw. They continue to build that line for Drake May. You can stick him over at right tackle opposite of Will Campbell. You could shift him inside to guard if you need to do that for a little bit. I think there's just a lot of flexibility here. I could see Emmanuel McNeill-Warren. He's one that, spoiler, doesn't go in the first round for me, that I don't feel comfortable leaving him out of the first round, but I could also see a reality in which he falls here. I could also see them going edge rusher here. I had Gabe Akis, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I had him going at one point to the Patriots. So yeah, would not be surprised if that happens. Number 32. But Emmanuel McNeill-Warren, imagine like he's like kind of like the Nick Emmanwori of the draft. They just got beat in the Super Bowl by the team with Nick Emmanwori, so you never know. Number 32, the Seattle Seahawks. I think they take a cornerback here. I have them going Colton Hood, the cornerback out of Tennessee. Brandon Cisse, I believe is how you pronounce that, the cornerback out of South Carolina. I could see that being an alternate pick here, another alternate pick potentially, depending on how the DBs look. I could see Emmanuel Pregnon sneaking in to the first round. Seahawks don't have a ton of picks, and they've done a lot of work on guys that are like early mid second that probably wouldn't be there for their next pick. So that's just kind of where I'm going off of with this. Could they trade back into this trade back from the first round into this early second round trade with a team that needs to go up? Yeah, but like in this scenario, who's coming back up in the first round to get someone? Like I don't see that being the case unless you're coming back up for like a quarterback for the fifth year option. But like I said, the in this reality, the Cardinals already got Ty Simpson at 29. So some players that were left off the first round that I'm not sure how this. I don't necessarily always feel that great leaving these guys off, but I just think that there's a reality where these guys do fall out of the first round. Jermon McCoy is the first one, man. I think the injury concerns are legit from just what I've read and what I've been hearing. It would not surprise me if he's a guy similar to like a Will Johnson last year, or like a going even a little bit further back, the linebacker that went to the Jags. Now that I'm blanking, my gosh, Miles Jack. So I could see like a situation like that for Jermon McCoy, even though he's uber talented, arguably the best cornerback in this draft when healthy, but I think he falls. Another one is Akeem Mesidor. I think the age is going to deter people from taking him in the first round. I really do. I was reading Schefter's draft Intel write up, and he was talking about how like the average age of like the players coming out is older now, and this means more hits. Teams are less likely to pull the trigger on some of the older prospects. I do think that affects him, and I do think he falls out of the first round. I think teams end up passing on him, even though I think he is worthy of a first round selection. Another one is Keldrick Faulk, edge from Auburn, I believe. He's just one where the production just doesn't warrant the selection. Similar to the Bengals first round pick last year. I don't think a team bites this year. I think he ends up slipping into day two territory as well. Yeah, Katie McDonald, Peter Woods. I think again, I just don't think the tackle classes or the defensive tackle class is that great. So I do think that those guys end up sliding. I think you see people maybe reach a little bit for offensive tackles where you see guys going early offensive lineman edge. but yeah, I think those guys fall out. So yeah, that is my mock draft, my first round mock draft. Last minute. I'm glad to get it out there. Thank you guys so much. We are going to try to be back weekly. I don't know when that will be at this point, but I got a lot of stuff brewing for the channel. I will in the next coming weeks, I'll be dropping like an update video of where the direction of where this channel is going. I'm really trying to get into the point where you're getting weekly content from something, whether it's Speak Now, whether it's Tales from the Honky Tonk, some other project that I'm working on. I'm really trying to get to the point where this is more regular. And I really enjoy your guys' support. Thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Let me know in the comments who you want your team to take. What's like the biggest surprise you think is going to happen today? It's so exciting. Let's just enjoy it. It's life changing for all these young men. It's life changing for these franchises, good or bad. Let's just enjoy it. Have a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, speak now or forever hold your peace. Peace.